Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer visits with Suzanne Ryan-Numrich, the International Trade Director with Kansas Department of Agriculture. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Kyle Bauer is with Deputy Secretary Josh Roe talking about the importance of trade. Then it's time to meet the winner of the 2017 Certified Angus Beef Feedyard Commitment to Excellence Award, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer visits with International Trade Director Suzanne Ryan-Numrich.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting today with Suzanne Ryan-Numrich. She is the International Trade Director for the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Suzanne, over the next year, KDA has a number of trips planned, trade delegations around the world.
Yes, that's correct. For 2018, we're excited. We received a STEP grant, which is an SBA grant that allows small businesses to expand their export markets or get started exporting. So we have 5 trips through the STEP grant, and then we're planning also 3 trips for seed stock producers in the state of Kansas to be able to market their genetics overseas.
If people want to be involved with that, what's the process?
You can either contact me, or all of the information is available on our KDA website under Marketing and International Programs.
Now, the seed stock grants, that would be for generally cattle only?
Generally in Kansas, that's the biggest group of people we've had interested in those trade missions. However, we would accept other people if they were interested in taking swine or horses.
For folks that would be applying for the grant, does it include all of their costs?
The STEP grant trip is primarily covered by the grant, so they would get a stipend for the airfare, and then their hotel and food would be covered. For the seed stock or livestock trade missions, they generally get a stipend anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 to cover costs for those trade missions.
Did we cover all the different places they're going? It happens all during the year at different times, and I would hate for you but some of them start fairly early in the year.
Yeah, that's correct. So as I mentioned, we have 8 trade missions, so we're going to have a busy year. The STEP grant trade missions, we're going to have one to the Ukraine for ag equipment. We're going to have one to Thailand for pet food. We're going to have one for Australia for livestock equipment. We're going to have one to Vietnam for aquaculture, feed manufacturing, and one to South Africa for sorghum seed production.
And again, folks that want to be involved, the best thing to do is to contact KDA?
Yes. So my information is on the KDA website, or you can give us a phone call. Our phone number at KDA is 785-564-6704.
We're visiting with Suzanne Ryan-Numrich. She's the International Trade Director for KDA. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Stay tuned for this week's Kansas Soybean update coming up next.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Person who's involved in ag production, cattle ranching, Bill Rischel here in North Platte, told me about Kansas Regenerative Medicine. And after talking to Dr. Pope, we did a lot of reading and researching, looking on the internet about it. I guess the thing that impressed me is that he told me, he said, if we don't think it's going to help you, we're not going to do it. And I thought that was a very good approach. I'm a former athlete, played college basketball, played overseas after college, had some severe trauma on the right ankle, right knee, joint in my hand also. This brace is what I had to wear all the time. Now I don't wear this during the day. That's a real improvement for me. My knee doesn't bother me. This joint came around quick. Was the first thing I noticed improving. You can see in the background here there's different fish and game that I hunt. Ability to walk was impacting my outdoor endeavors. I think it's really valuable, and encourage anybody that's interested to go down and at least do a consultation with them.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Lewis Bainbridge, a South Dakota soybean producer and newly elected chair of the United Soybean Board, joins us.
One of the important issues, Lewis, for the industry and for United Soybean Board is sustainability. Not only looking at that for farmers, but also to customers as well.
We want to make sure that our end users and customers understand that they are truly getting a sustainably produced product from the U.S.
And how do you do that? What are some of the points that you hit with them?
We have our protocol that we can attach to shipments overseas and so forth that assures that customer that these soybeans are U.S. produced as well as being sustainably produced.
So how do you do that with farmers? What are the message that you give to them?
The message we like to tell our farmers is to look at your production practices and try to constantly improve on what you're doing. On our farm, we're long-term no-tillers. We've been no-till for about 25 years. We incorporate rotation, cover crops, as well as livestock into our sustainability practices.
Do you feel like your fellow soybean farmers are doing a good job of following those practices and improving what they do each and every year?
We certainly want to encourage everyone to do that. So yes, I think we are gaining on that. We want to make sure that everyone understands that we want to help drive the truck, so to speak, in identifying sustainability. We don't want to be told how you're going to have to do that.
Because you have to feel confident that to make the end user feel confident about the product that you're trying to sell them to.
We absolutely want to make sure that they have that assurance that we are doing the best that we can do producing our products.
Has that customer been happy with the quality of the U.S. soybean?
Certainly are. The other part of that is we have a good quality product as well as a very consistent product. You know, we can keep producing that product and assure those customers that we have it available.
With the technology that you have, you can produce more of that product, it seems, as well.
It seems like we are probably a little too good at that. We have plenty of soybeans, but they seem to move through the market. So that's our goal, is to make sure that they continue to move through the marketplace and are utilized.
All right, sounds good. Lewis, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for what you do.
Those were the comments of Lewis Bainbridge, a South Dakota soybean producer and newly elected chair of the United Soybean Board, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Kyle Bauer and Josh Roe with Kansas Department of Agriculture.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches, me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry. So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in southeast Kansas, while also starting our family. Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back and now talking trade with Kyle Bauer and Josh Roe, the Deputy Secretary of the Kansas Department of Agriculture.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Josh Roe. He's Assistant Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Kansas. Josh, you have a lot of different hats that you wear, a lot of different things that you work on, but a lot of them tie together. Or is your passion with trade?
Yeah, absolutely. You look back at one of the overarching missions of the Kansas Department of Agriculture is to help the agricultural industry thrive, and we just cannot do so it's not possible without increased international trade, continuing to look for open up new markets through there. And very imperative. Our latest statistics for 2016 is roughly $3.7 billion worth of Kansas agricultural and food products, going through to meat and food products were exported. That's 35% of all exports out of the state were either agricultural or food based through there.
Well, and of course, in the news, we really almost all the time hear about different trade initiatives around the world. In more recent times, they've been more forefront, but probably no more important than the areas out here in the central part of the United States on exporting.
Yeah, it's absolutely important through that. You look at in Kansas in 2016, our estimate is that roughly 58% of the wheat produced was destined for international export. Corn and soybeans, because of usage in livestock, biofuels, and that is lower, but still between 15 to 18% of our row crops are exported through there. And we have a growing, in the news, we have a growing cotton industry, and a vast majority, approaching 2/3 of our cotton crop is destined for international export as well.
So what can KDA do to help that export?
Yeah, I think just continuing the message, the importance through there. Another great program through our Division of Marketing that we do with our international trade programs is both not only leading Kansas businesses to foreign lands to talk to potential buyers, but then also opening our doors up and hosting inbound trade missions there, where we do virtually every time see direct results and gain some new international buyers, open up additional markets for our Kansas businesses.
Well, and certainly as you have turnover of personnel around the world, you might have a great relationship with these folks, but as they retire or move on, it's a constant job to keep re-educating.
Yeah, and that's just it, and to be there, and sometimes it's real important those relationships last, and try to transcend it depending, no matter what the administration is here or overseas through that.
Visiting with Josh Roe. He's Assistant Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for the winner of the Certified Angus Beef Feedyard Commitment to Excellence Award.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family-owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the winner of the Certified Angus Beef Feedyard Commitment to Excellence Award.
Precision is a big part of cattle feeding. That's something Ty Rumford, manager of High Choice Feeders, learned from his dad while growing up in eastern Kansas.
We'd grind feed every Saturday morning, and he had an old hammer mill, and you'd scoop the feed into it and the corn into it and milo and grind it up, and he'd put his minerals and package in there. It's so many scoop shovels of this and so many scoop shovels of that, and he had a system, and I thought, you know, that's kind of neat how that all works, and it was just very simple. It's always interested me how consistency and accuracy made a big difference.
Inspired to earn a degree in feed science, Rumford worked at Cargill for 10 years before he moved into management at a family-owned feed yard, always with the same precision that led to progress over time.
There are several ranchers we deal with really didn't know where they were at when they started feeding, so we harvested those cattle. They would be 40-50% choice, prime every now and then. And you take those same ranchers 20 years down the road, and we've got guys that are close to 100% choice, and some of them 25-30% prime. And it's made a huge difference. We've increased the quality, and it's something that the consumer wants.
It takes good records, regular communication, and data sharing with ranch customers to hit those consumer targets.
We keep track of each animal. Each animal's tagged to where we know what happens to each one. We can tell, we've got scales on our chutes. We can tell what each animal weighs coming in. And when the cattle are harvested, we know what the cattle weighed going out individually. So a rancher can keep track of those individual animals all the way through his system, all the way through our system, and all the way through the packing plant. And he can take that information back to the ranch and look at his genetics and see what he wants to call or what he wants to keep, which animals are doing the best for him.
To make the most of those genetics and fit every quality program, Rumford's team makes cattle comfort a priority.
We give cattle adequate pen space. We give them adequate bunk space. Basically, those animals can come up, eat, drink, lay down wherever they want to and not be stressed at all. We feed 3 times a day. We feed on time. We feed every pen at the same time every day. And those cattle are just like clockwork. They come up, they know when the truck's going to be there, and when the truck gets there, they're there. They're ready to eat. So timing is a big factor in what we do.
When high-quality cattle know what to expect, so do the producers, and so do beef consumers.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help? How can we help?
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the squinting Duane Toews.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. A male jack refers to a male donkey, while a female donkey is a Jill. Fact or fiction?
Well, I should know this. I thought a female was a Jessie. I thought it was a Jack and a Jessie. Oh, dear.
That's a rock song, isn't it?
I don't know. It's been so long since I was able to rock my songs. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, Jill doesn't sound right. I'm going to go with fiction.
It is fiction.
Is it a Jessie?
No, it's a Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, I was right, but I was wrong.
You were right for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons. Well, that'd be better than being wrong for all the right reasons, don't you think?
Been there a couple times.
Yeah, exactly right.
Unfortunately.
Early politicians required feedback from the public.
Required?
Well, sure. They wanted to know if they were going to get reelected.
You can ask for it.
To determine what people considered important, and there wasn't a way. Couldn't do telephone polls. Certainly couldn't do internet
conference
polls.
Call.
Right, exactly. So since there was no telephones, TVs, or radios, the politicians sent their assistants, and I want to be this guy, to local taverns and pubs and bars.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing background work.
I'm an assistant to the politician.
Yeah.
They were told to go sip some ale and listen to people's conversations and political concerns.
Oh, now they're eavesdropping.
Yeah, just go to the tavern and go sip.
Okay.
Well, I'm not much of a sipper myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd forget everything I heard before the night was over.
Many dispatched at different times, so they would go sip here and go sip there. Are you putting it together?
Yeah.
The two words go sip were eventually combined when referring to local opinions, and thus they have the term
gossip.
I think that sounded good enough to be true. So
I suspect.
So I'm selling it as a truth.
There was probably more truth in it than fiction, though.
Well, I mean, it says it on the paper, and it sounded reasonable to me.
I know the meaning to get there, but don't you think? I think that would be a fair way to get the pulse
and
of
much
the
better than
community.
Asking people directly. Just listen to what they're saying in general conversation rather than ask them. That's one thing wrong with a poll. Number one is how they write the question.
Absolutely.
And number two is who they ask.
And how they ask it, which goes back to the question. Right. And then I think people feel kind of a responsibility to answer in a means. I think you get both ends. I think you get the pleasers that answer the way they think they want. the poll to come out, and then you get those that are not happy, and they're
Right.
going to make sure their voice is
Well,
heard.
and in fact, in
dissension.
in the most recent election, they claimed that was one of the reasons that it was hard to poll that, because a lot of people voted for President Trump who wouldn't admit it in public.
Right.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.